Monsieur le Président Snow, membres du Conseil, Monsieur le chef de la direction et les employés de la permanence de l'ABC, chers invités et mon confrère Lucas, j'aimerais commencer ce matin en remerciant Denise et Michel pour leurs propos et leur appui. Je remercie également et je félicite Maître Gosselin, le comité organisateur et la permanence de l'ABC Québec, car cette assemblée de la mi-hiver a été un franc succès. I'd also like to thank my wife, Mary Ellen Kenny, who I'm very glad is here with us today. Without her support, encouragement, and advice, I simply would not have come this far. So thank you, Mary Ellen. I would also like to congratulate Lukash on a campaign well run. I have many great memories of the campaign, and would like to share a few which stand out, like attending the meeting when the BC branch created our first Aboriginal Lawyers Forum, or discussing the challenges of serving some of Canada's most remote communities with members in Yellowknife on the coldest day they've recorded this winter. Et d'avoir été présent lorsque la division du Nouveau-Brunswick a décidé de fournir l'interprétation simultanée lors de ses réunions de conseil. Each of these memories is a vivid example of our progress in realizing our mission across this great land. Meeting so many members across Canada has been energizing and inspiring. The range of issues facing our profession is as vast as the country itself. But to our credit, we have attracted members who are dedicated, insightful, and fun, and are willing to tackle each and every one of those issues. Pendant cette campagne, mes discours ont exposé les trois axes que je propose pour coordonner nos efforts au courant des prochaines années. Today, however, I would like to focus on a few points which will inform my leadership as a CBA officer. First, I will have a keen eye to our mission in defending and reinforcing the rule of law and to our role in public dialogue in Canada. While teaching in Rwanda, observing elections in Bosnia and Kosovo, I've walked streets where the rule of law has been chased from sight. I have seen in the eyes and heard in the words of the people I met there what our president just alluded to. I strongly believe there is a profound and universal human need, a thirst for fairness. I've heard of the suffering that comes when that thirst is not quenched, when fairness, the rule of law, and the institutions of the state lose their meaning. We are fortunate to live in a place where the principles of natural justice, the independence of the judiciary and of our profession, are more often threatened at the edges than in the wholesale way we've seen elsewhere in the world. All the same, when I hear presidents of the CBA speak of the rule of law, those words now have a particular resonance for me, as I've seen how fragile the rule of law can be. Secondly, I will bring a collaborative approach to the association's business. After all, for every Banting, there was a Best. For every McDonald, a Cartier. For every Gretzky, well, okay, there was Gretzky. But I know I do not have all the answers. And experience teaches us that we are more likely to succeed if we can draw on the knowledge and dedication of all those members I mentioned a moment ago. I see in collaboration a driver of creativity. Creativity has brought us some great successes. For example, the creation of the Elder Law section and the Women Lawyers Forum Leadership Conference. With the former, an area of law was born. With the latter, a new kind of programming took the stage, and CBA built some important new bridges with other professions. Look also to the initiatives of the Equality Committee, like the Rare Finds Project, the Measuring Diversity Project. These projects reach out to all parts of the profession and take the theory of human rights to the practice of law. These projects complement our traditional efforts in the courtroom and in law reform, and will help realize more fully and in a practical way the meaning of inclusion. Regarding Arlene Huggins' question of yesterday, I look forward to receiving the self-identification data, but I also think we can use those same tools to help our association now. For example, we could follow OBA's lead and work more closely with associations of lawyers from diverse communities as a first step down the path to improving the situation. Innovations such as these will spark interest in the CBA, attract new members, and attract new revenues so we can grow. I will favor directing those new revenues to collaborative projects which creatively serve more than one part of our family, and to ensuring that sections, conferences, and committees have sufficient staff and financial resources to bring to life more innovative initiatives. Collaboration will only bring the results I describe if we all embrace it. Consider our efforts to increase membership. We have just heard what a great job we've done recently, despite the economic circumstances. We should all watch closely our membership numbers, however, as I believe they are a key indicator of our success. So, let's give ourselves a target. That way we can gauge our progress. I propose reaching for 50,000 members by 2013. Et j'espère qu'un grand nombre de ces nouveaux membres proviendront du Québec. That number would represent, by some standards, just about half the lawyers in Canada. It's ambitious, but it's reachable. But no one, including the membership committee, can be expected to reach it alone. In everything we all do, we must, each and every one of us, look for ways to work as a team on this objective. Collaboration is also key to strengthening our relationship with in-house counsel. I take a moment to thank those, many of whom are here today, who worked so hard on the negotiations and transition with CCCA. I'm honored to have accepted the President's invitation to serve with Robert Patselt on the interim executive. Like him, I am convinced that in-house counsel have every reason to fully participate in all aspects of the CBA. I am pleased and encouraged now that we've been joined on the executive with so many others who share that view. Their presence will help us get on with strengthening the ties between in-house counsel and other lawyers, with building a CCCA at the cutting edge of the in-house world, and building a CCCA that partners with sections and other conferences as an integral and vibrant contributor to the CBA family. The third point I raise, which will guide my work, is my commitment to access to justice. I hope you, too, heard Chief Justice McLaughlin's call to action last week when she commented on access to the middle class. If you didn't, you've had more than enough reminders of it in the last 2 days here in Charlevoix. As Gillian Marriott read her words to us yesterday, and as our President did today, I will not repeat them now. Suffice to say, we have a problem. One which threatens our citizens' respect for the justice system, and one which certainly threatens Canadians' respect for our profession. So, as I've said before in this campaign, let's lead the profession to look beyond the traditional tools to facilitate access. For example, let's explore where else the innovative techniques of collaborative family lawyers may be helpful, and let's help equip lawyers to practice in that framework. Let's take the lessons which I anxiously await from the BC branch's REAL initiative and their public commission right across the country. Let's see what more new technologies can offer to help us reach clients and resolve their disputes more quickly. Incidentally, I'm also confident that in meeting the needs of middle-class Canadians, and perhaps with a little help from Richard Susskind's work, our members will develop new business opportunities. Still, the more traditional but nonetheless pressing concerns also remain. The underfunding of legal aid, our courts, and the justice portfolios. We need look no further than just outside these doors for an example of how serious things have become. Quebec's prosecutors had to resort to strike action last week in their efforts to obtain parity with their colleagues across the country. I propose we help our friends within the departments of justice by seeking funding for other portfolios which will also benefit, like health, family and social services, and education. Let's remind them all where justice fits within the Canadian identity and the importance of what it contributes to a healthy society, to healthy Canadians. Indeed, our work will not be done until our policymakers understand the important role proper funding plays in quenching the thirst for justice in Canada. Until they understand that accessible justice is not a luxury. If we can convince the public policymakers of that, if we can lead the profession to new ways to practice, if we can reinforce the rule of law, if we can more fully realize the meaning of equality and inclusion, if we can do all that, 50,000 strong, we will be much closer to quenching that thirst. If we can do that all together, imagine how much stronger, imagine how much more vibrant our CBA will be. J'espère mériter votre appui. I hope to earn your support. Merci.